Channel 3 Weather Alert Network has live team coverage from Branch and St. Joe counties with an up-close look at the damage left behind. It is extreme in some cases, and the race to restore power to hundreds of thousands in the dark and with no AC on one of the hottest days of the year.
We begin our team coverage with News Channel 3's Trisha McCauley. She is in Colon tonight with a look at the aftermath. Trisha.
Yeah, Erica and Andy, I mean, this is the scene you're seeing throughout Colon. You're going to see down trees, down power lines. The fire chief tells me the entire town has been without power since yesterday afternoon. That's 24 hours now with no AC, no power during a heat advisory, and Consumers Energy says it could still be a couple more days before the lights are turned back on.
They've never seen anything like this. It was crazy. Yeah, pulling into town, I felt like it was a war zone.
Trees on cars, power lines, and homes is some of the damage you'll see driving around Colon. A tree fell onto Colon High School football coach Robbie Hatton's garage.
Oh, okay.
Today, he has the football team helping him clean up the storm damage.
One of the kids just said, hey, guys, if anybody lives in town, coach could use some help. So here's the kids that live in town, and, you know, it's wonderful to have these kids and the community support.
The Colon fire chief says his team has been working around the clock, cleaning up blocked roads and debris across town since Wednesday afternoon when the first storm hit. A second round of storms hit this morning, bringing even more damage.
A lot of power lines down, high transmission lines down. The town's completely out of power.
The whole town is scrambling for resources and trying to beat the heat without power.
So just the windows open and pray for the breeze, put fans in the windows. I went and got ice, got a cooler. My dad just now got his generator hooked up, so I'll probably be over here quite a bit.
Terry Means says she is being told she could be without power until Sunday. Today, she is helping her father remove a tree and debris from his yard, hoping to clean up as much as they can before more storms roll through.
We're getting ready for another one for tonight, the next storm.
Consumers Energy says they are expecting to restore a majority, if not all, of everyone's power by Saturday night. Right now, they have about more than 500 crews working 16-hour days across the state, and their priority right now is restoring the lights to those who lost power during Tuesday night storms.
New this morning, some parents unhappy with a West Michigan school district's decision to make masks optional. Today, they plan to rally outside the Portage Public Schools Administration building. However, some parents agree with the district's decision. Continuing coverage this morning, Jay Shatara is live in Portage now after speaking exclusively with both sides. And Jay, some parents tell you they'll go so far as to pull their kids out of the Portage School District.
Yeah, Laura, that's correct. I spoke with Jamie Washburn, who has a daughter in Portage Public Schools and has two immunocompromised kids at home. She says earlier in the spring of this year, Portage Public Schools sent out an email to parents saying masks would be mandated throughout the year, including this upcoming school year. But then they decided to change their decision this summer, making masks now optional. Now, we spoke exclusively one-on-one with Portage Public Schools Superintendent Mark Beelang, and he says they can only recommend, they will not enforce mask wearing because the county health departments are recommending mask wearing, not enforcing it. Now, after all of that, the decision not to enforce that mask policy is exactly why Washburn, with her daughter later today, will be rallying.
Give me a break. If they can enforce a dress code and measure my daughter's skirt down to the millimeter, then they can enforce a masking policy.
Now, some parents do agree with the district's decision. They call themselves informed citizens of Portage, and they say they are pro-parental decision. Christy Medema with the group says she doesn't need a school district to co-parent for her. Medema says her daughter will not be wearing a mask because of her asthma. For this group of parents, they say this pro-choice means the decision should be entirely up to the parent if their kid should wear a mask or not.
I don't want my kid to ever feel like she is doing something that is hurting someone else, because that's the last thing that she would ever do. And so for her to have that instilled in her mind at a young age is not okay.
Now, if the district were to reverse their decision, then some members of that self-proclaimed informed citizens of Portage group do say they would also consider pulling their kids out of the school district as well. Some parents, do say they plan on attending that meeting later today, the rally later today. Again, that rally is set to happen at this building right here, the administration building for Portage Public Schools at noon.
Morning, a Kalamazoo woman's making an international impact through a foundation she created called Higgy Bears. She's using her own childhood experience to help kids with scoliosis. Lexi Petrovich is live in studio with her full story, which you'll see only on News Channel 3 this morning.
Lauren Higginson says she remembers growing up with scoliosis, having numerous surgeries, and feeling very alone, not wanting other kids to feel the way she did. Lauren now runs Higgy Bears, making custom replicas of scoliosis braces for stuffed animals and giving them to kids around the world.
So this is the first one that I got that matches with this brace.
14-year-old Lily Clark lives all the way in Oregon.
I've made so many friends just through Higgy Bears.
But she has special ties to West Michigan, thanks to Lauren Higginson.
Scoliosis has a way of making you feel like you're alone because you don't want to talk about it because it's kind of, you feel ashamed of your body in a sense.
7 years ago, Lauren created Higgy Bears, special stuffed animals designed specifically for kids with scoliosis.
And here's a picture of a girl sleeping with her bear. About 3% of the population and about 30,000 kids get braced every year just in the U.S., and then about 100,000 have surgery.
Each bear brace is carefully crafted, custom made for every order.
Kids, when they take their brace off at night, they take the bear's brace off and they put it back on, and they even scratch their little itches together. And there you go.
And behind every animal and brace created,
I truly feel like this is kind of my purpose,
is the story of Lauren, now touching more than 20,000 kids in all 50 states and more than 60 countries.
I just hope to be able to touch more kids' lives.
Higgy Bears cost $40 per purchase. Lauren recently started a nonprofit division to cover some of the cost and is using that money to donate them to hospitals. You can read more about Higgy Bears, Lauren's story, and how to help her cause by going to WWMT.com. That story's live right now.